Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. Tech Dev here on Twitter posting this. Despite larger market cap, bigger players, and different supply dynamics, I still see consistent impulsive and corrective patterns over Bitcoin's history. Those factors, among others, likely contribute to the lengthening of these patterns. So this is what he's demonstrating here, guys. The Bitcoin trend over longer periods of time, and we can see how those trends have indeed lengthened out. So for example, back in 2011, 2012, 2013, we did see a Bitcoin cycle that was a lot shorter than what we are seeing today. And so this chart just demonstrates Bitcoin log growth curves, and we can see similar patterns here. Downward movement in blue, followed by a retracement to the 0.236, and then another one to the 0.618 here in orange. So if you're just following the colors blue, yellow, and orange, and after that corrective move, those moves to the upside have essentially just demonstrated that Bitcoin, or rather the Bitcoin bull run at that time, showed bullish momentum. And then finally this red pattern here, that is the bear market before the next cycle up. So guys, this is what we're seeing again here today, and this cycle has been elongated. We're taking it from the top of the last bull run, which was 2017, late 2017, early 2018, and throughout till today. So 2022 into 2023, and you can see if we do match up, and he doesn't show the entire Fibonacci, but if you do match up the 0.236 and the 0.618 in those yellow and orange colors respectively, that is where we are today in the trend. So just looking at this chart, and I mean, it is a good visual if you guys are visual learners. So if you're not watching the screen right now, you might want to. That is the accumulation area, the 0.618, before we see that last push up, the same push up that we saw back in 2013, before we move back into that red zone here, which would be the bear market. And this is a lengthening, guys. This is a lengthening of the Bitcoin bull run. So this is where we are today. Bitcoin right now trading at just shy of $39,000. We did have an interesting week, and I mean, I know the week isn't done yet, but let's just take a look at Bitcoin real quickly on the week, because we did see Bitcoin plummet at the beginning. But look at that, we're seeing this longer wick down here. And I mean, I'm assuming we are going to close above the opening price, which would print a bullish top, or a spinning top that is green would definitely signify another move up. And we're actually seeing, well, not by much, but we are seeing a volume pop a little bit. Hopefully we get more volume in the market. That would definitely help the price action go much higher. And here, guys, on the XRP chart, on the weekly, we are seeing that same pattern here. We saw a huge dip down over the week, followed by a strong move up. But the important point that we should be paying attention to here on this weekly candlestick, again, that long wick printed on the weekly candlestick, which usually signifies a reversal. So even just putting XRP on the daily, let's say, and getting rid of that, we can see also this daily candlestick here was also that reversal candlestick. Small body followed by a long tail. Sometimes we'll also see a long wick on that. Did definitely signify a reversal over the next couple of days. So the trend looking like it's moving up, coming out of what we identified earlier this week as that bullish pennant. So interesting to note that. We also have this from Miles J. Creative, continuing to see consistencies with 2013's interaction with the Fibonacci levels. So similar to what Tech Dev was seeing here with the 0.236 and the 0.618. Miles J. Creative also noticing this on Bitcoin. If this were to continue, we would see a resumption off the 0.5 to new highs in the coming months. So this is what we're hoping for. 2013, of course, a rebound back down to the 0.618. And you can see that structure there, the waves 1, 2, 3, 4. Finally, the 5 wave, the 5th wave, would bring us well above to new all-time highs. And so, you just compare that to 2022, and hopefully we are in that same pattern, the 0.618, the 0.5, all lining up. Hopefully this will check out. And so, of course, that would denote a potential move to the upside, similar to what we are expecting here, according to Tech Dev's tweet and Tech Dev's chart. And of course, the Bitcoin market will bring the rest of the cryptocurrency market up with it. So, despite the fact XRP trading at about 75.5 cents right now, we will likely see the momentum move for altcoins as well. And speaking of altcoins, guys, I've got some Vechain news. Vechain signs an integration deal with XP.network. So this is a NFT multi-chain platform. The network signed a partnership with Vechain Thor. This new integration might bring this NFT bridge a viable solution towards real-world adoption of NFTs and enhancing interchain connectivity. Many of the startups in the crypto industry are directed exclusively towards the DeFi sector. However, Vechain Thor is a blockchain project that has a prominent focus on solving issues revolving around the real-world economy. The protocol has created specific solutions and infrastructures that could help the user to spend the digital currency without the underlying structural issues. So this is an example of where Vechain was focusing on one thing, and now it seems like they, since the blockchain is multifaceted, we can see how Vechain, firstly, industry is using it for supply chain management, but we are seeing how diversified it is and how the diversification can lend itself to more, branching out into more facets. In this case, NFTs being all the buzz, of course, with the metaverse, so on and so forth. So we are seeing new applications, and this latest one here relating to NFTs. The blockchain project makes use for a specific model known as proof of authority, which helps enterprises to have a frictionless financial system. Vechain follows a two-token system on the network, so just gives you guys a little bit of information about that. Just going to move down here real quick. XP.network is one of the few NFT multi-chain bridges available in the DeFi sector, so that's a unique quality of XP.network. According to the platform, the partnership will be a milestone in the project's journey towards making NFTs an accessible area for users across blockchains. XP has already signed several blockchain networks for NFT bridging, and this list includes, but is not limited to, Ethereum, Solana, Avalanche, Algorand, and Elrond as well. So they are looking to really expand. Vechain is one of the latest partnerships, and I personally think this is going to be good for Vechain just because the crypto space is ever growing, and when you're in fintech, when you're in, the technology sector just in general, you likely want to be at the cutting edge. You don't want to dabble in too much to spread yourself too thin. However, you can't stick with one product and one use case either. So I think this is good for diversification within the Vechain project. I also saw this. Lottery.com, yes, Lottery.com, the website, chooses the Algorand blockchain to power their gaming platform. So more news here, more real-world utility for these two particular altcoins, expanding, and in this case, Lottery.com. They're a leading technology company that is transforming how, where, and when the lottery is played, and they've selected Algorand's innovative blockchain to support the development of Project Nexus. LTRY's Project Nexus is a blockchain-based gaming platform designed to operate lottery and other forms of online gaming worldwide. The platforms offer enhanced security, scalability, and speed. According to the announcement, Lottery.com selected Algorand based on the blockchain's focus on user safety, track record, and consistent uptime, high performance, low cost transaction, as well as Algorand's dedication to operating with a negative carbon footprint. So, a lot of great reasons, as we know, to run on Algorand. Algorand has thousands of organizations around the world that use its open source technology. We've long believed that all gaming will eventually migrate to the blockchain because of its inherent transparency, said Lottery.com CEO and co-founder Tony DiMatteo. In selecting a blockchain for Project Nexus, Algorand checks all the boxes we are seeking. Its technology contains a combination of high efficiency, low latency, scalability, and security, all of which are key attributes for games we expect to grow on the Project Nexus platform. So the Algorand blockchain looks like it is a good fit for Lottery.com. And, again, all gaming will be going to the blockchain. Algorand, just one of those projects first out the gate to really kind of expand and partner up with many of these companies quickly. They want to be one of those first movers in the space, similar to how, several years ago, Ripple wanted to be the first mover in terms of cross-border payment solutions. So what they decided to do, partner up with the central banks, partner up with smaller fintechs. Now we're seeing, throughout 2021, 2022, we're seeing the companies that partnered with Ripple, let's say back in 2016, 2017, 2018, we're seeing that, now the results have come in a few years later. We've seen that they have been successful. In a lot of cases, they have grown as companies, and now they are expanding their partnerships, merging with even smaller fintechs. That's how the network effect works. That's how the flywheel affects the use case of the XRPL. More utility running through the XRPL, eventually more demand for XRP, and when there is more demand for a cryptocurrency, well, we know about supply and demand. More demand means the price will go higher. So in this case, we're talking about Algorand, but we're seeing the same kind of patterns here with regards to the Algorand Foundation as we did with Ripple and XRP back several years ago. So interesting news there. Also, Algorand, I probably should mention again, is one of the World Economic Forum coins, or the WEF coins, that I'm starting to highlight now in the videos I do. Anyway, some news there for Algorand. Also wanted to mention this, and EN here on Twitter brought this to my attention. Why is no one paying attention to this? This is happening in Washington, D.C. right now. So he tagged me in this tweet. Currency Research, welcome to Washington, D.C. We're pleased to welcome an international delegation to the inaugural Digital Currency Conference. Currency Research CEO Sid Jens is setting the scene for a full day of discussion on the top payment issues from CBDC to interoperability and much more. This is happening in Washington, D.C., so this is an American conference. And look who's on the panel here. Some good detective work here. The moderator, Ashley Lanquist from the IMF. And over here, James Wallace, he is an employee of Ripple. So we've got a representative from the IMF on the stage, also a representative from Ripple. Despite the fact that Ripple is in court with the SEC currently, what this tells me is that RippleNet, the technology, is still on the table as a method for payments in the United States despite the legal woes. So the digital currency conference happening right now, likely been pushed to the back burner considering what we are seeing in Russia and the Ukraine right now in terms of what's going on in the world. Anyway, wanted to thank E-N on Twitter just for bringing that up because I agree. I didn't hear much about this either, so it is good to keep on top of these things. Thanks so much for bringing that up. Also this from Tag XRP. Hey, John Deaton, did you know that Sean Memon, who sat in on the SEC meeting with Brad Garlinghouse and Joel Katz, David Schwartz, was also a Sullivan Cromwell attorney? Well, isn't that interesting? So here's just a little write-up on Sean Memon, U.S. Security and Exchange Commission from June 2019 to January 2021. Notice when he left, January 2021. Also notice where he works today, Sullivan and Cromwell, and he was in on that meeting. Or sorry, he didn't go to Sullivan and Cromwell. He used to work for Sullivan and Cromwell, September 2008 to May 2017. And as per this August 2018 document, we can see Sean Memon, or Meeman, Deputy Chief of Staff. He was at that meeting with Brad Garlinghouse and David Schwartz. So another connection there that may perhaps get you scratching your head. Sean Meeman, who sat in the Ripple meeting with the SEC, miraculously decides to conclude his tenure at the SEC just one day after Clayton files a complaint against Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse, and Chris Larson. Now, who knows if he was maybe trying to avoid any conflicts of interest, or maybe he didn't want to be called to the stand or whatever. But it is very, very curious timing, to say the least. Just a month after the SEC lawsuit was dropped, not to mention Jay Clayton also left the day after he brought upon the lawsuit against Ripple and XRP. So another Sullivan Cromwell connection, things that make you go, But guys, I really think the judge is seeing the light now. I think Judge Torres is starting to get it. James K. Filan posting this. This is just the latest update on the Ripple case, SEC versus Ripple. Ripple and the individual defendants have filed their opposition to the SEC's motion for partial reconsideration and clarification of Judge Netburn's DPP ruling, noting that the SEC is simply seeking a do-over. That does not look good for the SEC lawyers. And James K. Filan just tweeting out, BAM! XRP Crypto Wolf saying the SEC started this lawsuit but don't want any Ethereum and XRP documents to be revealed. How much do you think they are regretting suing Ripple? Fred Rispoli down here saying an absolute takedown of Ripple. Only reason for Judge Netburn to agree with the SEC would be political. Hopefully she denies the motion next week, then cue SEC appeal to Judge Torres. If the SEC loses there, that would be the first real likelihood of a settlement in my opinion. So interesting as we're following this, Jack the Rippler giving us some more information on this, posting an AMB Crypto, just giving us some of the highlights. So the latest updates from the lawsuit points to a potential win for XRP. The ongoing feud between the SEC and Ripple continues in the headlines, as we know. This just details some of the filings, some of the history. Deception under oath. Interestingly, Ripple Labs on February 26th filed their opposition to the SEC's motion for partial reconsideration and clarification of Judge Netburn's DPP ruling. The filing noted that the SEC simply sought a do-over. Again, does not look good on them. CryptoLaw just tweeting out some of the details. Defendants' response in opposition to the SEC's motion for potential reconsideration of ruling on DPP for Hinman speech drafts, emails, and meeting notes. And so he links a link in that tweet. I will link this in the description if you guys want more details. The aforementioned filing stated, though, the following to counter the SEC's motive. The SEC's motion is an inappropriate attempt at a do-over simply because it is unhappy with the court's order on its prior briefing. No pretense that the demanding standard for reconsideration is satisfied here. Extensively litigated for nearly a year, the SEC highlighted the same case issue, however, this time based on a new theory. In a reversal of course, James K. Filan, a famed lawyer, reiterated this development on Twitter that shed light on the case. And to put some authority to Ripple's response, Filan said, BAM! As per the tweet that we just read earlier. In fact, plaintiff ignored the previous filings that incorporated former Director of Corporate Finance William Hinman's sworn declaration. It maintained that Hinman's speech expressed the personal views of the speaker and then suddenly changed this narrative. Now the speech was a culmination of and reflected a policy process within the Division of Corporation Finance. Although, if this were the case, John Deaton argued the following, and so then they post John Deaton's tweet. The Ripple lawyers are professional and very tactful in explaining that if the court were to accept the SEC's new theory regarding the speech, that it's the division's opinion, not Hinman's, then the court must accept that Hinman lied under oath. So, damned if they do, damned if they don't. So it goes on for a little bit more. I will link this in the description. Jeremy Hogan weighing in. Wow. I expected Ripple to come out swinging, and this brief did not disappoint. This is the hardest hitting brief thus far in the litigation, and rightfully so. So it looks as though Ripple has got a very, very good chance now. As these lawyers are weighing in, the SEC has spun itself a tangled web here, and I don't expect the judge to help them out on this one. And then Jeremy Hogan just down here saying that he probably will not make a video this weekend, but I am really looking forward to what he has to say on this, maybe the following week, or maybe once we do get some more information, some more updates with regards to the case. Half and half down here just chiming in, and I think this kind of paints an accurate picture. They said 1 minute we want to hit the ball with the bat, and now we want to hit the bat with the ball. But also, there is no ball, and the bat is just a personal possession. However, now it's the department's bat, and the ball was never discussed, but also the department spoke about it. Yeah, this is exactly how convoluted this argument is, and I'm glad these lawyers are weighing in here, although it does not take a rocket scientist to realize what the SEC is doing and how, as John Deaton puts it, they are painting themselves in a corner. I think that was the quote there. Anyway, that is the update with regards to the Ripple and XRP lawsuit. Meanwhile, bringing it back to some news from around the world, sanctions, like I had mentioned in a video I did the other day. I think we're going to hear a lot more about SWIFT, replacements for SWIFT, because of the Russia-Ukraine situation that is going on. Russia obviously wanting to avoid the sanctions being put on by the United States. And so just the other day, I mentioned Ben Swan and how he was saying the BRICS countries were already looking into something that sounded very, very familiar to me. Something that he described sounded exactly like RippleNet. And if you guys didn't catch that video, I will link it up here in the top right-hand corner. And so just more drawing towards this point, ECB President Christine Lagarde calls for crypto regulation to prevent sanction evasion. So because of the fact that they know Vladimir Putin and the president of China likely in cahoots to create their own system to subvert the US dollar, circumvent it altogether. I guess not subvert it, but to circumvent the use of the US greenback altogether. They are trying to figure out ways to do this. In the latest of such scenarios, the ongoing global crisis involving Russia has led to new discussions about the need to impose crypto regulation. So yeah, Europe is getting involved. Russia has over the last few days invaded Ukraine for various reasons, including an ongoing attempt to join NATO. In response to this invasion, which has been condemned globally, several nations, including the European Union, have imposed severe economic sanctions on Russia. But Russia, sounds like, are not going to take it. However, these sanctions might not have the far-reaching effects on the country as expected because the Russian government could possibly use crypto assets to evade these sanctions. And if you guys didn't see that Ben Swan interview on RT News, I do suggest you watch that video. This possibility has led the president of the European Central Bank, the ECB, Christine Lagarde, to urge lawmakers to approve a regulatory framework on crypto. So this could realistically have an impact, a deeper impact, I think, on the Russian sanctions. Lagarde made this call while responding to a question from a reporter on Russia potentially using crypto to evade some of these measures at an informal meeting on economics and finance. She stated the fact that the ECB would implement any sanctions imposed on Russia by the European lawmakers to the latter. So cryptocurrency regulatory clarity perhaps coming out of this Russia-Ukraine situation. The ECB president conceded that digital assets can be used to circumvent any restrictions imposed on the country and thus urged lawmakers to improve on the current crypto regulatory framework. This is what we've been asking for years now, and it's taking a war to put this in place? All right, here's a quote. Wherever there's a ban or prohibition or a mechanism in place to boycott or prohibit, there are always criminal ways that will try to circumvent the prohibition or the ban, said Lagarde. So, bringing it back to the whole crypto for criminals narrative, which I think is several steps back. I don't think they should be going there. Nevertheless, she's going there. She further explained that it is critically important that markets and crypto assets be pushed through as quickly as possible so that there can be a regulatory framework within which crypto assets can actually be caught. And just on her point here, and on Ben Swan's point from the video I did the other day, we also have Jim Rickards, courtesy of Golden Key here. I was tagged by George Herpick here on Twitter. Here's what Jim Rickards had to say on CNN the other day.
All these countries are trying to get out from under dollar hegemony, and that's going to happen.
And then there goes the power of the U.S. to impose these sanctions, right?
Correct, because if you, first of all, they're all building alternate payment systems. Even the German foreign minister the other day said Europe needs an alternate payment system. They could do cryptocurrencies. I'm not saying buy Bitcoin. I don't like Bitcoin at all. But you could create a new cryptocurrency with a distributed ledger with China and Putin. So imagine a Xi coin and a Putin coin. They could denominate it in SDRs. That's a special drawing right. That's the world money that comes from the IMF. They could back it up with gold. And notice that the dollar is not involved. Everything I just described doesn't involve the dollar. So that's why this could, if the U.S. doesn't reassert dollar hegemony, one good way to do that would be if the U.S. started buying more gold. I don't expect that to happen, but that would be part of my advice. If the U.S. doesn't do that, again, this whole alternate system, it's being created now. This is not science fiction, but it could affect the dollar very, very rapidly.
And to Jim Rickards' point here, this is not science fiction. This technology exists today. Again, similar to what Ben Swan said in the video I did the other day, Jim Rickards is describing to a T exactly what RippleNet technology is going to do for the world. So are they telegraphing? To me, and I'm going to be optimistic about this, to me it sounds like they are. It sounds like they know that RippleNet leveraging XRP is going to be introduced into the financial system. This is going to be a new way of conducting transactions financially. Now Jim Rickards has said it, Ben Swan said it in 2019, and many other economists are in the know as well. Utilizing an SDR, leveraging XRP for that liquidity, there has never been a better reason to do this than now. And then there's the Russian side of things. Are they going to be utilizing DLT technology to subvert these US sanctions? The technology exists. This is not science fiction. That's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.